And we're back with our recap of WrestleMania 39. I'm Big D, this is Mac Shaw, and we are doing Rey Mysterio versus Dominik Mysterio. The Battle of the Mysterios, father versus son. A match the world has been waiting to see. And thank you for Cinnamon Toast Crunch on sponsoring this match. Because when I think of Rey Mysterio versus Dominik Mysterio,
Spanking his
I
son with a belt.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. um,
bro, bro,
yeah.
bro. You know what? There's only one unfortunate thing about this whole match.
Oh, what's that?
It was on the card with some really fucking badass storylines.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of them.
This was one of them.
This
This
is
would have been the match of WrestleMania 39 for me,
mm,
had it not been for one other match. Technically
okay
two,
on the same night.
and they were on the not on the same night. Yes.
Oh no, okay then I guess we'll. It was a very good match.
I am
Um,
I'm right now, bro. I'm just jumping in. I apologize. I've done this to you two in a row, but I'm going with
it's all right.
5 toilet paper rolls. Thank you very much.
Okay.
This match could have been 3 minutes, could have been 1 minute long. And so long as Rey Mysterio took his belt and whipped his son, that would have been it. That would
He
have been
did that.
enough because the story itself was just it was very personal. It got very heated. It got very personal. It was a little hokey, but it worked. You know, with the whole prison thing. That was a
That was,
little,
that was, that was the only thing I didn't like
yeah.
because the timeline of that was completely off.
Yeah, because if he was still in
Like,
prison and then he showed
right.
up, that would have
Yeah.
been awesome.
So
But hey,
they,
hey, 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 listen, it was still personal, and both you and I wanted to see this,
oh yeah,
which
yeah.
means it
And I'm
mattered.
glad. Like, I'm glad that they waited 6 to 8 months for us to see this happen.
Oh yeah, it's like, how
Like we,
often do you get father versus son, uh,
well, not
WrestleMania
very,
fucking moment?
or any
Never.
sports, you don't see it. Like, but we were talking about Dominic and Ray splitting up and fighting, you know, a year ago,
Yeah,
and it tasted like just anticipating this to happen. And yeah, we finally got it, and I'm glad that they built this up really good. Um, yeah, the only thing I did not like was the beginning of Dominic's entrance. He was back in prison, and if if they had if this was planned, like I wonder when they decided this was going to be the entrance. Because if this was decided a long time ago, then they messed it up. Because if that was the case, then they should have kept Dominic in jail, having him do like maybe like a month, and each week he's doing a promo from a prison cell. I would have been cool with that. And then he gets released. His release date is WrestleMania 39. That'd be cool. Like
and
you
they
get a
drive.
promo where Ray comes to like visit for visitation or something because he wants to mend what him and his son are going through, and
That's
then
where Dominic fucks him
you
up.
get like Dominic spitting in the window, and like that's like disrespecting Ray that way, and
Yeah,
then just like you just hype up the heat between the two, and then he breaks out of prison, and he's getting ready to fight his dad. That's how they should have done it, but whatever. He's back in prison and he got released, and it's just like, yeah, Ray went through this.
yeah.
Um,
It was a little weird to see him get driven by a police.
yeah,
Like it's not even a van. It was like, well,
yeah.
van,
I just
whatever.
think I just it would, but like I said, like if if the story was that he was in prison this whole time, then sure, that would have been cool.
And the
And
teardrop tattoo, do we not know what that means?
well, he killed someone.
He did?
Yeah, he did. Apparently,
Okay.
that's what the teardrop means, right?
Yeah.
Okay, phew, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like
Yeah, well, like, he had that because
I I
he
looked
went
that
to jail
over.
for like 2.5, 3 hours
Yeah.
because he punched his dad on Christmas. I think it was. I don't know. This has been going on for many holidays,
Yeah,
and
he was yeah, he's got taken in for a little bit. Um but then they're like, "Whoa, well, we're going to turn him into this." And it's like it was hokey, but it was still personal. I mean, I think it helped. I think the storyline was helped a lot of the fact that they were father and son and that Dominik started wrestling alongside his dad and now they're facing each other. I think that's what really made it. I think that the prison story was ridiculous, really, in a sense, because it's like so what he did and how long he was in prison. I mean, he all of a sudden he just became this guy who's living this life for years.
right, which was great.
It was, and see, so to me, like part of that was like, okay, Dominik is trying to be somebody.
Right, right.
That's what it seemed like they were playing off of. He's trying to be somebody, even if that's a convict. Like so he probably it's like one of these like I'm not taking seriously. I'm not taking as any sort of
Hmm.
threat. So I'm gonna join the cool kids club and I'm gonna go to I'm gonna get booked for an hour, but this is gonna look like I was doing push-ups and sit-ups and shit for years and I killed somebody. So it definitely built him up to be this brat, almost a
Oh, for
brat.
sure. And what they did was make him the biggest heel in the business, pretty much. With,
Yeah.
well, at least considering of the hate from the fans.
Yep.
You put a mic in his hand and you get him to say one word. That's all he has to say.
And they're booing him.
One word, and it's just the boo cruise is on him,
So
and just everyone hates him. And like, but you talk about Dominic a year ago,
yeah,
6 months ago, even. You're not. You're like, man, this kid needs some work.
he needs some help.
Well, he put the work in,
Oh yeah.
and I mean, his in ring has gotten better over time, and he now has a character. He now has personality behind his character that can get people to react.
Yeah, this is
And
his second WrestleMania, I believe.
it might even be his fourth. I don't know.
Really? Okay.
I
Well,
don't know.
anyway, he just earned him 5 toilet paper rolls from
Yeah,
MJ.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. I mean that's
Oh, from MJ, we're going with MJ. Sorry.
oh yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. MJ, the greatness.
Yeah,
um,
it was. Well, I mean, it was like this would be a match that I would watch back.
I would too. And
'Cause-
and once again, this is a story business. It's like impersonal. I cared about it. I cared to see it, and I wanted to see it. And so even if you thought it was hokey for him to come in with the prison van and all that shit in cuffs, like who in their right mind wants to get handcuffed again if they're not going to prison? Especially on the way to enter into a match, because you might get attacked before those cuffs come off, and then you're fucked.
right.
That's just something to think about. But I mean, he's cockiness. He's wanting to be more than he is. All those things worked in his favor, and Judgment Day and Mommy with Rhea Ripley and the
Hmm.
whole Eddie Guerrero business on top of it. I mean, it was personal. It was personal, and seeing Rey Mysterio, it's really interesting because he on one hand I'm sure he loved this. He loved working
For
a
sure.
match like this with this story with his son, but at the same time,
For sure.
he's like, oh, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
I mean, and like So this was the same weekend Rey Mysterio gets into the
Hall.
WWE Hall of Fame,
Yep.
and he gets a one-on-one match with his son.
Yep.
Like and like they put that story and they kept the storyline going through the Hall of Fame as well.
Yep.
Um, like
Kayfabe.
Ray, yeah, and it's like we don't get that a lot of the time. Especially with, I mean, I guess it just depends on with who, I guess. But Ray comes out when he's getting inducted, or even Conan who presented Ray and mentioned that if he got reincarnated, he would want to come back as uh, Ray's son and replace Dominik. It's like there's like that little bit of heat, and then when Ray came out, everyone's standing up and clapping, except for Dominik, who was seated by Rhea and Damian Priest. They just sat there. They didn't clap. Um, as soon as Rey Mysterio starts talking, the crowd reacts. Ray looks over, and Dominic, Rhea, and Damian Priest are walking off the stage and into the back. They're not staying out there for his speech. It just like they kept it. And I like that. Like I like that they kept it kayfabe, and yeah, they just did a really good job with the story. Obviously, there's it's a new day and new or not new day, Judgment Day, and the Judgment Day can't win on their own, and Priest gets involved, and he ends up leaving his jacket in the ring, and inside of his jacket is a link of chain, and Dominic was getting ready to hit Ray with the chain, and then Bad Bunny, who was on commentary, uh, ended up running over and grabbing the chain from Dominic, and that immediately involves Bad Bunny into the storyline of at least the next chapter of the story.
Mm.
Um, but Ray ends up winning. But yeah, he took his belt off and started whipping Dominic in the ass
That was the
and
moment.
in the corner, and that was cool.
That was the
Um,
moment. It's like it was
yeah, it was just
personal, man. I
was.
cared to see this match. I cared to see this match, and so maybe the fact that father and son made it that much more poignant to
Oh
me.
yeah, I mean it was something that we were hoping for a long time ago. We were expecting it to happen, and then it was getting there, but they held it off until the week prior to this match, where Ray attacked and finally got physical with Dominic.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, okay, it's happening, and it happened. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. I got
And it's
5
happening.
toilet paper rolls. What do you got?
Yeah, yeah, I got five.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, first 10 toilet paper roll extravaganza here for us.
we might get a couple in a row. I don't know.
Yeah, we might.
But
Great match. I mean, but that's the thing. Like to me, a match. Like if they had 3 spots in that match, one of them is that they're just wrestling. They're starting the match. I mean, even the start of the match is personal. He's fighting his kid. So, but I mean, Damian Priest could have showed up a minute later, and Bad Bunny could have grabbed the chain at like right there, and then we got the spankings, and then just closed the match. That would have been enough, you know. I mean, of course, it's Rey Mysterio and it's Dominik Mysterio. You want to see him perform things, but what I'm trying to get at it's if you care about the story, the match itself, like what it's done in the match, you don't need a lot. Like that. That's at least that's where I'm at. So I just feel like this match not only delivered, it was the story was tremendous. All right, congrats. That was fun. That must have been fun for both of them.
oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Now that's a
Just,
moment.
just Dom did Dom. Yeah, Dom's just been on a whole other level for himself.
Oh yeah, and yeah. Speaking of yeah,
Working
Dominic
out
is
great.
he's just rising. He's just
Yeah,
rising. So
yeah, yeah. And that's just. I mean, him going to the Judgment Day has been so good for him.
yes,
So good. I mean, it's actually worked out great for all of them. But
and Rhea though,
yeah,
and Rhea for him, mommy. Come on, you know what kind of respect you need to have somebody like Rhea Ripley, your mommy. Cause look at Rhea. Look how she dresses. Look. I mean, she's a badass, and she's his mommy. Shit.
yep, yep. And he plays that whole like. I love like I go back to the previous feud that they just got done with um, Beth Phoenix and them. And the
Mm.
one night Beth Phoenix came out and ended up hitting Dominik with her finisher or whatever. And she picked him up and he just looks at the camera and yells, "Mommy." That was awesome. It was really gold. Um, so yeah, it was just
Tremendous.
yeah,
Tremendous.
yeah, really good. Watch it one more time, two times. I don't care.
Yeah, it's worth it.
We'll see the continuation. Um, continuing to backlash or not backlash, battleground. Um, where I'm assuming we're gonna get a tag match with
Bad Bunny.
Mysterio, Bad Bunny against Dominik and Damien Priest. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
which would be cool. I'm glad that Priest is gonna actually be in the match in his home country, and so will Bad Bunny. So, and I also found out that Ray Ray Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, all of their like matches, their promos, and all this stuff is just like so highly more viewed than anyone else in WWE.
Mm.
Like they showed some numbers. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head.
I think that
But
father and son bond, bro. That father and son thing. Cause like no matter what, even if the story, well, I see like here's I'm just throwing this out. Even if the story was kind of hokey, I still feel like just the fact that it's father and son, there's that thread
yeah,
underneath.
yeah,
That's like people like this is such an amazing moment for both of them, you
yeah,
know, and they're reliving it in this kind of like in such a if you're gonna have like a professional wrestling moment, it would be heel versus face. And to have the son the heel and father the face, man, that's just
yeah.
that's um what would you call it? That's mythical, you know? I mean,
Yes.
you had Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, you know? That's that that
Gotcha.
that um uh I think throughout myths, there's a like a you kind of almost have to overcome your father in order to become full-fledged man. At least that's how mythology used to be. Like
Right.
you have to
Right.
stand up to your father. And so I think this hit on many, probably on levels that we're not even cognizant of. But how cool, man! Just cool. I think just
yeah.
fucking cool. And 10 out of 10. 10
Yeah.
toilet paper rolls from the Jobbers.
We talked about Dominic's entrance, but Ray also had a great entrance of coming in on the in
The
the car with
lowrider.
Snoop Dogg. Yeah, with Snoop Dogg
Yeah,
and the Snoop Dogg song, and then it transitions into Eddie Guerrero's song. Um, and it just like, yeah,
yeah.
it was just really cool. And then his mask, which I didn't really care for.
I did.
I
I loved
thought,
it.
but then the after effect, after I learned that it was inspired by the Great Muda, and it was used, to represent Great Muda, and like that. I was like, okay, that makes sense because that is the Muda style. Now that I can see it, it was actually in um, the post show, the press conference
Yeah.
that I found that out, and I was like, okay, it makes sense. Like, But yeah, he looked cool. Dominic came out with the mask with his in his entrance. That was pretty cool, but timing of him still being in jail just tore me up a little bit, but it did not change anything about how good it was.
Yeah, he
Uh,
didn't. He really didn't. But damn, that was like, oh my god. It's like it just seemed out of place. But then again, that's the character they're trying to portray, you know, and like he's this hard ass from being in prison for like a couple hours.
yeah, I'm not, I'm not,
Yes.
my mom asks me every time now that he comes out and he's got the bandana in front of his face. Say, I don't know why he wears that.
Ah. It's because he's trying to be hard, mom. He's trying to be hard. He's trying to be somebody.
Yeah,
That's why, mom. You're trying to be somebody.
you trying to explain that to a
Well, then WWE didn't do the best job of explaining it.
well, I'm just saying, you explain that to a 72-year-old and expect them to know what that means.
Oh, nice. Good point. Good point.
It's hard, Mom. He's trying to be hard.
You're trying to be tough. There you
Oh,
go.
they got pills for that.
All right, 10 toilet paper rolls from the Jobbers, man. What a great moment for all of us.